Eric, can you move in a little bit?
Hey.
Nice.
Hello, everyone. We're just getting this all set up now.
We're live right now.
Yep.
Lit.
It's okay. It's episode 4. We're allowed to be rough. There it is.
Oh yeah.
Make sure we got sound.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sound. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. So today we've got a big round table. You know me, Dan
I'm Symon Wolf.
I'm Eric VanNoort.
I'm Evan, Wiens.
So we've also got to meet Evan before on episode number 2, was it? No, episode 3. We've already done 4 of these. On to number 4, and hopefully many more. You know, these things are so great. They make me want to rhyme all the time on a dime. Anyway, so
You're hilarious.
Yeah. I got nervous in front of the camera, so I started rhyming. But anyways, we've got a few things that we need to talk about today. Well, we have an expert here, one of the founders of Locals for Carriages. So I want to ask Eric some crazy questions about how that all got started and what's happened with this group and what things are going to be coming in the future. Brought back my artistic expert, Evan Wiens here, and wanted another local historian, Symon Wall over here. He's actually a history major, so always got a nice perspective on everything, can always kind of compare back to some other event and bring it back to current day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Eric, when did this group all start and what was it that kind of made it all happen?
So our group started probably just later last year, summer, and it basically started because of somebody really saying something and getting people's children involved in photos and a lot of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The protesters have been coming here for probably around 2 years now, and more consistently recently.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're kind of getting ourselves into a pickle because we're not getting into a pickle. They're putting themselves into a pickle because driving around in their trucks with these signs and more than anything, they're harassing the community.
Well, the one thing I find funny is that this group is driving around their trucks, trying to make a big deal, trying to like kind of get in everyone's faces. But what's funny is like they say that they care so much about animals, yet I mean, pretty sure that like driving a truck around is not good for the environment, and that's where animals live as the environment.
Exactly,
All the land that we live on right now is like deforested by people who are like horses, like driving horses, you know, horses plowed everything. So like you have to basically boycott like every house you live in, like anywhere you go that that a horse is like helped build.
I wonder, like everything in life seems to be made of leather. Like I wonder if this group, like I feel like they must have like maybe a wallet or something that has some leather in it that they're not aware of. I mean, I'm sure they go out of their way.
What makes me think is these people are protesting speciesism. So we'll take something on that. Is speciesism against all animals in use of any form. So you could, like for instance, a service dog, right? You got your somebody's blind and they have a dog that helps them around,
and they want to take the dog away.
They want to take the dog away.
So what do they like? What happens if you ask them like, hey, if you went blind and someone offered you like a seeing eye dog so you can get around and get your groceries, like they're saying like no, they would rather just not eat.
It's pretty much it.
Okay.
They'd rather just, you know what, you got to take away the dog. No animal, like no animal for anybody.
Exactly.
Animals should not be. They should be considered the same class as human beings.
I feel like this group
we are animals. Like
we're animals. They're animals.
Often at war for anyone, Niagara.
That would work in a world that we're not dominating, though. Like the problem is we're dominating the world, so we're taking away their natural like habitats, stuff like that. So like they can't actually exist in their natural state.
Exactly.
Well, here's what's interesting. Did you know that horses used to be native to North America like about 10,000 years ago? Mm-hmm. But what happened was that the humans that were living here, like before even Europeans came, all the horses end up getting killed out by the people that lived here because the horses were seen as a large amount of food that you can have. I mean, they're massive. Like, how much does a horse weigh? Does anyone know?
Probably like 1,200
pounds. That's what I was going to say.
It's like, you know, I'm just under 200 pounds. That could feed me for quite a long time. So anyways, they killed them out entirely in North America. And then horses were reintroduced when the Europeans came over in like the later half of that millennium. And so it's kind of funny that like they're so upset with us having horses here at all, and that they should return back to like their natural habitat. The horses that are brought over here aren't even native to North America. They're European horses that we had to bring back here to like repopulate.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is even horses if you go somewhere and there's wild horses, Arizona, different places in the States, drier places. If you see those horses, they're not healthy. And we're struggling to keep those horses even alive now.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I think of is like, you know how quality of life, when they measure it in different groups of people or different like types of animals, like in one experiment versus another, typically it's like quality of life is measured by the length of their life too. That like there's a correlation that like the healthier a living thing is, the longer it lives. I mean, it's common sense. Like if you eat your vegetables and you don't do anything that's too abusive to your body, you'll probably live a long time because you're healthy. And the fact is that these horses, when they're actually in like owned by people, used for the purposes of pulling or of like light work, they live longer. Which is like, for me, it's like, let's say I didn't ever get up off the couch and I just kind of sat around and ate chips all day versus me being a mailman going door to door, working all the time. I'm going to be healthier. I'm probably going to live longer. So, I mean, the horses must be happy if they're having such these long, healthy lives.
Getting treated well afterwards, right? Like, you know the family.
Yeah, well, a horse will tell you, and this is what I've been told, they'll tell you if they don't want to pull that carriage.
Yeah, because horses can only say nay.
Yeah. So, no, if a horse doesn't want to pull a carriage and he's not up for doing it that day, for instance, he doesn't have to do it. They're not going to force a horse that doesn't want to do something.
Why don't they get ponies or something?
Exactly.
The problem's not horses. They should get humans to pull the carriage. They don't get anything else. Yeah. So when was it that the group Locals for Carriages actually like became Locals for Carriages? 'Cause I know obviously there was a movement. You were passionate about this. Everyone that's part of the horse community has been passionate about this. But when would you say that like the idea of the group came together?
The group really came together was last year. So just at the end of last year.
And
there was a couple of us, a few of the people in particular. There's Jen and Karen, of course.
Hello, Jen. Hello, Karen.
Jen and Karen. We love you guys. And then we've been lucky to have so many people helping out too with joining in. A couple of the carriage people, the Sentinel family. They love that we're doing this and helping them out, trying to get down to things, I guess.
Yeah, trying to make sense of it all too.
Exactly, and you know what? We're picking out the information that these people are doing. Like,
so much misinformation.
They're making fake accounts, trying to.
They're trying to like.
They're just antagonizing.
They're also slandering people for no reason. Like when I was standing with the Carriages, it was mid-October. Yeah. And I was out there, had the nice Locals for Carriages shirt. So they ended up taking a video of me and then putting me up online. They found my name and they're saying like, oh, he's with like, forget how they describe me. Like I'm paraphrasing, like, oh, he's with like the animal haters and blah, 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 and the abusers. And he himself is an abuser. And I'm like, yeah, like if that helps you sleep at night to like categorize me in that way, go ahead. Like, if it causes less grief for everyone else in the world, that's fine with me. For other people though, I mean, I can speak for myself, but like I don't want you slandering other people who are getting into this. Like it's not right for you to claim that what is and what isn't right for other people's way of life.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's awesome that this group came together. I mean, I'm proud to have that shirt. It's a nice color too, like the burgundy.
Yeah, the red, the nice burgundy red. Well, we love those shirts, and we're so fortunate with our community here is how many people like we have our thing coming up for Pasta Trivia Night on May 11th. 120 seats, all sold out.
How much do they sell for? I bought two of them. They were like $25 each.
They were $25 a seat, and then we were doing $180 for a table.
That's awesome.
So completely sold out. Everything's going awesome. We're gonna have live music after 9.
Yeah.
So anybody's more than welcome to come after 9 o'clock. Pretty much for a couple drinks if they want.
That's awesome. So I mean, with the ticket sales alone, they've already sold about $3,000 of revenue.
Exactly.
Plus, with the rest of the night, I'm sure it's gonna be so much fun. Lots of different things to be able to kind of bid money on. Was there like a silent auction?
Well, there's gonna be 50-50 draw. We have tons of prizes. It's unbelievable how many prizes actually we have.
And there's gonna be spaghetti.
It's pretty much and what we're looking at right now is everybody's gonna leave with a prize. I feel like we'd have enough prizes for everyone to leave with something.
Just to be in the presence of that community is a prize in itself, isn't it? So you're walking in the door, you get your prize at the door.
You do.
Yeah.
And that it's gonna be welcoming.
Did you guys get tickets?
Welcoming.
Not yet.
Where is it?
Right. Sold out.
Well,
I guess we're not
maybe the next one.
We'll
Maybe
sneak
the
in,
next one.
just like we sneak in all
It's open after 9.
It's open after 9. So and then there's beer and there's gonna be a wicked live musician.
Where is this?
John Claus. It's at the Legion in Niagara.
Oh,
right on King Street.
King Street.
Where they do the fish fry.
Oh yeah. Also,
Yeah.
fish fry for anyone interested.
Anyone who lets themselves eat fish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty cool to see where this group has gone from. But like, we definitely have seen that like since Locals for Carriages has gotten stronger and became like a recognized force in Niagara. It seems like this group of fans been trying to pull their socks up even higher and trying to like just be in your face even more and be even more annoying. And like that's Mother Nature. That's just you know.
Well, now they're saying something about how they're going to be. They did some tactics and some training about using handcuffs and
so they watched a YouTube video,
knife defense and stuff like that. I guess
where are they even coming from? Is it like
as far as I'm aware, some of them are from Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
There's might be a few from the Falls. More than likely, most of them from Toronto, London.
Yeah, because this is
they're not really at all from Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Yeah, because there's like another group that's most people from London that people are part of as well.
A lot of people from London.
So they're driving from like 200 kilometers away to here. So putting more kilometers in, probably
that's like way worse.
Yeah. Oh, probably driving over squirrels or whatever animals on the way here. Like, oops, sorry, I gotta go protest the horses.
Hitting pigeons.
Yeah, honestly,
they're just hitting bugs, man. That's all it is. But you know what? When you think about it, that's all they want. All these people want is they have actually said that they would rather these horses go extinct.
Well,
than be used as animals.
What about like an animal that went extinct a few years ago? Can you guys think of one more recent? Because I mean, we can go back to
like a white rhino. There was like the one last rhino or something that went extinct recently.
So would they rather someone be able to genetically engineer or somehow magically bring back to life this white rhino?
Well, they won't survive.
They're doing that with a woolly mammoth. I don't know if you heard about that in Russia. Like scientists found a remnants of a woolly mammoth from like probably 10,000, 20,000 years ago.
Because I've heard they can take the woolly...
like a Jurassic World.
Yeah,
it still had blood in its like veins and in its like
tissues. So they're trying to kind of replicate it.
Well, yeah, they can do.
Cells,
they can take the DNA and they can create like the gamete cell, put it into like an elephant's egg, and they can literally impregnate like a normal living elephant with this mammoth DNA. But they say that when it gives birth, it'll give birth to a mammoth. But the mammoth, the way that like they've had to like recreate its DNA is that it will be sterile. Like it won't be able to make more mammoths, but we can at least bring back like one generation of it. And then we can keep making them that way for now. My point is, this goes back to the horses, I swear.
That's ridiculous.
So if I was able to bring back all the mammoths on Earth, but only under human supervision and to have them live in our society, would offhand say no? Would they say, hey, screw that?
Yeah, they would. I think they would.
Would you want to do that? I feel like there wouldn't be any benefit to
I know they would say more than anything is they'd probably be like, well, why are you guys testing on an animal like this? That's what I know that they would say. But still, their whole thing is, why do you have an elephant in captivity? Why do you have lions and tigers in captivity? Why do you have your dog and your cat at home?
Oh, I leave the door open.
They should have zoos or something.
Yeah.
I leave the door open for my dog, and he comes back every time. Yeah. Like, he's a Chihuahua, so he probably wouldn't survive very long, like in any climate, anywhere. So
in this area, you get caught by the coyotes.
Mm-hmm. That was me. I was just moving my chair. Speaking of cats, actually, they tried to do that with the horse, the prehistoric horse, and it died like shortly after.
Like it was like old horse genes that they brought back. Yeah, leave them in the past, man. Well, we still have them.
They went extinct for a reason. Like they can't like survive like in the world that we know.
Yeah,
so many humans do. I think within like, this sounds probably crazy, but like 100 years, I don't think humans will be able to survive on this planet.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Oh yeah,
nuclear holocaust more than anything.
We've got a comment from Rebecca Battersby saying that they have also said they want to end all forms of breeding, humans included. So basically, they just want plants.
They did. It's very true, yeah, because the one guy...
I think the world would be a lot better.
Rebecca, if you're listening, we like the facts. Any more facts are welcome.
There's one more guy from the opposing group of fan who specifically said, while we were there, is that this was my only child, and this was the only...
like offhand was?
Yeah, and he said that she's not allowed to have any children either. So, which...
That's kind of creepy.
It's really creepy. His daughter was...
He or she probably...
But
you're saying that the offhand is the person's daughter, like claimed the group to be its daughter? Is that what you're saying?
So this offhand person was there with the daughter.
Oh, they were okay.
With the daughter.
Sorry, I thought you were saying this guy was calling offhand his child.
No,
of my group.
No.
Oh yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. Okay, so a human. Okay,
a human from the group offhand said that his daughter was not allowed to have children.
But he had the daughter, so isn't that a bit of a paradox?
Yeah,
isn't
but
that hypocritical?
Did he think about it like that at the time though? He was
involved. If we pulled up the audio file of it, like,
yeah, we gotta find that.
Yeah, no, I have it, and we'll talk about it again later on.
Yeah, that is weird because like
he specifically said his daughter is not allowed to have children.
Well, when I was younger,
11-year-old child or something.
I still have this thought sometimes, but like, you know how
abortion, man.
Well, okay, you know how everyone has everyone has a carbon footprint, and when I think of like my parents and their carbon footprint, I include myself and all siblings because like the thought is that like by them creating us, they created carbon consumers. So let's say I use, I don't know, let's just say 1 million kilograms of carbon in my life, and my brother and sister each use 1 million kilograms of carbon. And then my parents, let's say they each used 1 million kilograms, but then they're also accountable for the amount that they created through having children. So now the whole family total is 5 million kilograms of carbon. So my thought was like, I don't want to have a kid because I don't want to like harm the earth anymore while we already have such a finite amount of resources.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we don't have the technology at a pace yet where we're able to just change everything over to green. I mean, maybe the technology's there, but just not the economy there. The political movement's not there.
Yeah.
Too many people that own a lot of oil are able to influence politicians in order to.
That's what that one young politician in the U.S. is saying. Like, don't have Cortez.
Oh,
yeah, she's
AOC.
saying. Yeah, she's saying like, we shouldn't have kids really. Bad environment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Well, because we're slowly overpopulated.
It is, yeah. Like just naturally, it's having people are back to the environment. Like it's paradoxical.
When I was born, we had 6 billion people, and now we're up to what, 8 billion?
Yeah, that's like 2 billion in like 10 or 20 years, 20 something years.
Jeez. Well, yeah, but then I started to think about it more. It's like you can have kids as long as you teach them not to be a dick. I mean, teach them to pick up their trash. Teach them not to.
Well, it all depends who the parent.
We don't even need trash though. Like trash is something that infuriates me. Like we don't even need plastic. Like people just keep producing it.
New York State is banning all plastic bags.
Yeah,
like, we can recycle
Ontario,
cans.
We're getting there. You know, Niagara Falls actually just banned the use of plastic straws.
Oh yeah.
I saw that St. Catharines was about to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of places using those like bio straws.
My work does it.
I haven't read into it yet, but like I have no idea about like when they're starting that or
in New York State or
even here in Niagara where they're saying that. How that's gonna happen.
Just gonna phase it out, I guess.
Well, Canada really needs to work on its cannabis industry if they're going to be sending everybody plastic containers.
Yeah, that's true. Lots of rubber going through the mail.
Yeah.
Or there should be like, you know how like you have like growler programs at breweries? They should do. Well, they should have like jars that you like go to the place, and that should be like the standard for any place where you buy things. When you're like out, instead of buying in bulk like tons of stuff like that's in plastic containers, you just have like your own containers that you can bring and fill and like have a scale and weigh it.
Even aluminum would be better because I mean it's easier to recycle aluminum than it is to recycle plastic. I mean, if I could be wrong. I have no idea. I don't work in aluminum or plastic. I assume like, but what if everything was aluminum all the time? Like, so if you ordered your pot from OCS, you got it in an aluminum box. Like, I guess, I don't know. Is that safe? Like, is that like a threat?
That's hard to say.
Too much metal in
I don't think we should be using minerals. Minerals should be left on their own because they're separate from our kind.
When you say our kind, you mean the human
race? They're not the same sort of organic that we are.
So we should use like wooden boxes for
nothing because
just here you go.
Well, it's the same theory as with animals, right?
Yeah.
We can't interact with any species, so we shouldn't interact with any minerals.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a closet offhand with us today.
Any vegetables, any plants, flora, fauna.
It's true, yeah.
Well, seriously,
can't use animal. Yeah,
like
at what something you have so many different species of plants.
Yeah,
speciesism.
Yeah, like at what point do you discredit or disregard life? Like, does it have to have a brain to be alive? Like plants are alive. Like, and plants also sense things too, and they feel stress. So,
I don't know. Like they know they're like offspring and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would like to see these people step on grass. I would be freaking out. I would like the hypocrisy would be too much.
Oh, you can see them. You'll see them Saturday standing on the grass.
But there's so many things that they're involved with that have been done by horses. You know, like
yeah, horses eat grass too.
You shouldn't drive a vehicle if you're gonna.
That's horses.
If you're gonna worry about horses in Niagara-on-the-Lake, you should be worried about things that affect the entire planet first.
Well, you know, horses give off methane gas, and I mean
Yep.
that's bad for the environment too.
And so do cows in like huge like factories that are producing tons of red meat.
Yeah, I have heard that. I mean, there's that McDonald's commercial you see where the farmers are like, we use 10% less methane gas than we used to, and it's like 10% less of $1 billion is still 900 million. Like, I don't know if that's still good.
Yeah.
Like
my neighbors actually, they tried to use methane gas as a renewable energy
for the chicken farm,
for the greenhouses. They actually set up a whole system to use renewable energy through using the gas, the gas to heat the greenhouses.
And they weren't allowed to, you said?
No, they just honestly, it was too inexpensive of a project. I won't talk about their personal stuff.
Yeah. Sorry,
that's their stuff.
That's
their stuff. None of my business.
So we got another comment from another Rebecca. They must be hoping for mass extinction. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, they're doing their weird tactical "we want to kill you" class. So I mean, that's gonna be weird to see. I want to get a sign though that says like "Don't stand on the grass" and stand on the opposite corner, and that'll be my thing. Like I want all four corners of King and Queen to be lit up with like a different kind of like movement, just to kind of
let's start it. Yeah,
like because theirs is so silly. I want to do one even sillier. I want to say, you know, don't step on my grass, don't step on my concrete. That concrete might be able to feel. We have no idea. Yeah.
Protest in
their air, yeah. Don't breathe my air.
We should protest. Protest in their town. We'll go to their turf and complain about something stupid.
No, of course.
All the human trafficking.
Yeah, like why don't people? Why aren't people complaining about that?
Yeah,
I don't see people protesting human trafficking.
There are a lot worse things out there. But
yeah,
exactly.
That is true. Like
when you see inhumane work too, and the fact that they're dressing up right now like paramilitary police officers. I don't know. They were in bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
What do they think is going to happen? That a bunch of rednecks who love horses are going to come and like shoot them?
I think it's all the pitchforks and the torches because everyone in Noddle's an old-fashioned farmer.
Wait for the next fox hunt, guys.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Oh, man.
What else were we talking about that was going on? We were reading both the newspapers today. So I guess that's an interesting thing in itself.
Yeah. I seen immigrants welcome on the headline here.
Well,
somebody was putting up signs.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to talk a bit about like some of Niagara like history. Like, I mean, we could start even with like local history about how like we got two newspapers that started within a year of each other. So did you guys ever get the Advance at your house? Do you know?
Yeah, I used to get the Advance.
In the office for it was right next to Silks, like in that plaza, right? Yeah. And well, it's kind of funny. So that went down the tubes. Then all we had was the Niagara This Week, and then we got the Lake Report, and then it just. I know at first the Lake Report, I think, was it monthly at first?
It was. I think bi-monthly, yeah.
So
semi-monthly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then, it was like bi-weekly, and now it's every week. And now we have another newspaper, too.
The local.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't gotten this week's yet, so nothing to talk about on that one. Well, what did you get up to today?
Thanks for putting me on the spot. Today I was figuring out how to put videos onto DVD so I can play them on my PlayStation 2 for an art show that we're doing on the weekend. So I've been filming migratory ducks down at the mouth of the river. So they come up from they come down from the Arctic, and I guess they come up depending on your
like through Lake Ontario from like the St. Lawrence Seaway.
They fly down from like really far up north, and then they like fish here and swim here and hang out for a few months, and then they disappear again, take off. So I try to like get some footage of them while they're in town. I got some really neat stuff, so I was trying to figure out how I could get that onto a PlayStation 2 so I can play it through like an old box TV.
How long have you had that PS2? And it's like the old 3-prong wires, like the red, yellow, and white.
Yeah, so it's actually one of the smaller models. So I think I got that one.
PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the
little smaller one.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
We have a PS3 that we got back in like must have been 2006, right before the crisis.
Yeah.
And we still have it, and it's like we still use it for YouTube and everything. Like I don't know if Sony's been like keeping on it, but I mean, the thing still works. I don't know how many times they had to update it, but thing runs like a gem.
Things
like
didn't have to be updated as much as they do nowadays.
Well, yeah.
Well,
that's what's funny.
Like a new phone, new iPhone every
year. They make everything obsolete that you're
using.
So you have to, I had an iPhone 4 until a couple weeks ago, and then it finally broke.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, technology, as it progresses, it becomes more susceptible to, like, other people tampering it in with it. I mean, because we're so much more connected than we used to be. So, like, I don't know, like, go back to the extremes. Like, in the early 90s, it was mostly just, like, the United States that had like internet. So I mean, you had few people that even knew how to get on the internet to like create a virus and try to take down your computer. But speed forward 20, 30 years, and now everyone has a computer. We're all connected to everyone. So like I could get hacked by anyone in this room, anyone in the next room,
like little kid.
Yeah, anyone in the next province, next country, next continent. Like honestly, there could be someone sitting in Antarctica right now using a satellite to beam up like a virus that we could be downloading right now. But yeah, so I mean, there's just, we always have to have these updates to always be able to like take care of like, oh well, this person figured out a new way to get into our computers. Now we have to find a new way to defend against that. Yeah, it's never ending.
Kind of like new people coming into your town and complaining about things.
Yeah, that's never new. That's always old.
Oh my god, yeah, 2 years old right now. Let's get him out.
And so, where do you think things are going to go from here with Offhand with that? Because I mean, every time it seems like the protests have gotten bigger and bigger and just crazier and crazier. Like eventually, I feel like we're just going to have two big crowds.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. It's either going to be
like
that
has
or
eventually.
You know what? These people are digging themselves a hole. I feel like they're scaring the general public.
Yeah.
Coming now, when people are seeing them, it's going to be totally different because they're going to see these people dressed up as like the military officers or whatnot. Maybe they're driving around in these vehicles with their signs.
I think
it's threatening.
They're really shooting themselves in the foot because like they're not coming off in a positive way at all. And I guess like however frustrating they may be, it is like still amazing the kind of positivity they brought. Like I honestly, you got to look at this as like they are a big negative, but every kind of negative attracts a positive. The stronger negative force, the stronger the positive magnets that'll come flying in that direction. And that's what happened with Locals for Carriages. I mean, it's a big group of people that probably, I mean, I wouldn't have met half the people that I've met through that group if it wasn't for Offhand coming in. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing. I wouldn't even, I wouldn't have any clue.
It's brought so much of the community together, and I've gotten to kind of, I guess you could say, work and volunteer with so many people now. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun. You know what? We're bringing everybody together as much as it's not fun what these people are doing. But it gives us we have a cause that we're going for, and we're trying to support a local business that's been here for over 30 years. Yeah. Like,
it can't be fun for those guys. Like they probably wake up stressed and they're like, we got to go down there and like we got to like get our point across. Like it's probably frustrating for them, you know?
Yeah. I feel like if they were driving down and they even hit like one seagull on the way by accident with their trucks, like what would they do? Would they turn around and be like, well, we screwed up?
Yeah. I don't know if they would. Maybe they'd care. I would care if I hit a seagull. I had a raccoon once and I almost threw up. I felt so sick because it was with all the other raccoons. It was like a whole line of them. And I was like, man, like that one was probably like,
like it's like a no. That one probably had a mortgage or something.
Yeah.
I hit cat once.
Okay.
Yeah, it ran out under my back tire, and it was more of like a suicidal cat incident.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I turned around and I called the Humane Society, everything. I was so.
I almost hit a dog once too, and that's just like
really.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm like one of the lines, and they're always walking.
So many lines and concessions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these Offhand people, they're filling their cars with gasoline made out of dinosaur juice.
Yeah.
Like, don't they feel bad about the dinosaurs? Yeah. Like, because it's the same thing as like, you know, they don't wear leather. So imagine if a deer was dead on the ground in front of them and it was going to rot if no one did anything with it. Would it be wrong for them to use the leather from that and use it? It wouldn't be wrong.
I think that it's like good than letting things waste.
You respect the animal at that point. You've at least like acknowledged that it has an existence beyond what it had already.
Well, it's like catching a fish or something. If you're like hungry and you're up north, you catch a fish and you're just like, oh, like you really appreciate the fish that you've just caught and that you're gonna eat.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like
you take a picture with it either, and then you eat it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it could be a giant fish, could be a little fish,
a little tiny one, but if you hold it close enough to the camera,
exactly. It's all about depth perception.
You always hear about like these crazy activist people that end up like just completely like getting caught doing something absolutely against like their religion or their like ideology or whatever. Like, you think any of them like sneak a hamburger here and there? And
probably.
Just, like, don't tell anyone.
Well, that's like the same. That's like if a priest is like doing really gross stuff and people catch them. It's like you've been like pointing the finger for so long, and now you're like now we've got you.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a
so if you're gonna be like, well, seriously though,
no, it is. Yeah,
but like, and everyone has problems. Everyone does things that are wrong. On a regular basis.
You need to be more like transparent.
Yeah, you got to be more understanding. Like you have to recognize what's wrong with you, first of all, and then you have to like, then you can like let everyone else's problems go. Take it easy. It's not that hard.
Yeah, priest problem is a real problem. I was at the Vatican this
Stop being
summer.
so sensitive.
That's like that's pretty, I don't know, extreme example.
Yeah.
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 okay.
Comparison.
Well, that's a whole other episode we can get into.
Yeah. Next time.
You want to talk about legalization and what that means and how you feel about it. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, I mean, a lot of people have a different opinion of whether we should have even done it or not. And my thought is how it should have been done, or like when it should have been done. So what are your thoughts on it? If you want to talk about a bit of your backstory.
Anyone to go first?
All right.
What do you guys think? You go first.
Yeah. So I voted Liberal in the last federal election, but the reason that I voted Liberal was not for legalization, but it's because I wanted to see them change the voting system to a percentage-based system instead of first past the post.
Yeah.
Because right now we have individual ridings all across the country, and what happens is if you're a die-hard Green Party fan and you vote Green every time, and you vote Green in your riding, you likely aren't going to end up seeing like a seat in the Green Party because unfortunately you're surrounded by a lot of people that are conservative. And because it's on a federal basis and you're looking at like all the seats are distributed across the entire country, and the way we have the system, like even though there's people all across the land that have the same ideology as you, all of you get no representation because you're surrounded by a lot of other people that don't have the same ideology. So you get zero representation for what you believe in because of that. But if we change it to that percentage-based system, let's say even like 3% of the country wanted to vote Green. Now you would actually get 3% of the seats with us having, I think it's 335 or so seats in federal parliament. That means that you would still get like 9 or 10 seats with that vote. And that's enough if we had a minority government that you'd be able to actually have some sort of an influence. And so
and more people would be like,
I think that's slowly
voting
becoming a thing too.
Because back in the day, you had to vote for the guy around you because there's no such thing as the internet. There was no TV when Canada was the first country. I don't even know, like radio waves were just becoming discovered at this point when Canada was in its infancy. And it's just crazy because we still have pretty much the same system 152 years later for our country. It's just ridiculous. Like we have the ability to connect with everyone else that has the same ideology as us across the country. I mean, the world as well, but across the country. Yet it seems like we're just still living in the past. Like, and I was so sad when Trudeau threw that plan out, said, we looked into it, we changed our minds. Like, okay, like who am I going to vote for next time? Did you see Rob Nicholson's stepping down? Or he's not resigning, but he's not running again. He's been a member of parliament for over 20 years now.
I was just going to say he's been there for a while.
Apparently he's the longest serving Conservative Party member of parliament. And he actually used to be, I think, a regional councillor for Niagara Falls back in the day. And so what's interesting is whenever there's like a new seat, like, I mean, someone like that who's the incumbent for that long, a lot of people wouldn't even want to run because they just think, I don't want to lose to this guy. I'll just, maybe wait until he's resigning. Like you see anytime that like whoever the incumbent is decides they're not going to run, you see just tons of other people just join the race. So really curious to see who the next Conservative is going to be. I'm curious to see who's going to be the next Liberal candidate for this area. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, like the SNC-Lavalin thing is screwing up the Liberal Party quite a bit.
Because we got an election coming up in like
October.
6 months, 8 months.
October or November.
This is the year, right?
October, 2019.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna vote Green again so I can complain about everything, but still exercise my right to vote.
Yeah, no, I am.
I don't think Trudeau's gonna win. He has really no.
You can always give a no confidence vote.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Well, because right now Andrew Scheer doesn't really have.
He doesn't have
a lot
much
of support.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and also like
he's too much like Stephen Harper.
What's interesting? Did you know that the other day Facebook did a big purge of a whole bunch of accounts that they like associated with like right wing kind of extremist kind of racist hate group kind of people, and Andrew Scheer's Facebook numbers dropped that day. It means that there was a noticeable amount of people that were like
huge, big difference.
Probably, I mean, who knows? Like, I have no idea about the individuals, but like, like Facebook's
a lot of them are probably fake too, though. Like with the whole Russian, they're not actual people. They're just trying to stir up controversy.
Yeah, it could be like
the George Sanderson
all over the place.
Could be like neo-Nazis and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy to see.
Actually, I heard of My dad reported something that was going on at the arena. Someone was like, people were writing like Nazi stuff in the change rooms.
Oh shit!
At the local arena, yeah. Someone had written like "Big Hitler" for the kids or something in the bathrooms.
Oh geez.
Yeah, so
man.
trying to figure out what demographic would be into that sort of thing.
We had out of towners too. You never know.
Maybe.
Or
Well, remember in high school there was that kid who like wrote that thing about our janitor who was of color, and he wrote like some racist slurs and just like I mean that was a kid. I mean I obviously hope that no one does this kind of stuff, but it's like I'm hoping it was a kid that did that.
It's
like ironically.
Yeah, I know.
Or just doesn't understand like the severity of it.
I know when I was in elementary school, kids would like draw like swastikas and they're like, oh, like, but they didn't really understand.
Yeah,
you know? And like those same kids, they grew up to be like really like normal people who like.
Yeah, it's not like things. They don't cut people or they're not.
I
like
turned out pretty normal.
Robbers.
Yeah,
but like, no one, unless you live through that kind of stuff, you're never gonna fully understand it. But you have to at least be empathetic enough to know how other people have gone through like such.
Learn from history.
Yeah. So
see how we went. Like that.
My grandfather grew up in Holland, so I heard a little bit of a story and background from him. He told me. So during World War II.
Yeah.
Bullshit he went through.
My Nonna was in Sicily. She was, I think, about 4 or 5 years old when the war started. So imagine like you're growing up, like, you know, you're 3 or 4 years old, you're just learning to talk and walk, you're just starting to understand like what life is. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the entire world's fighting? Like, okay. And at the beginning of the war, that's when Italy was partnered up with like the Axis of evil of Germany and Austria and Japan. So like at that point, they're like, so what's going on? Like, Mom, like, oh, like we're going to war. Like, did we start it? No, but we're part of it yet. And like, okay, like what's going on? I don't know. And so her dad ended up having to go all the way from Sicily, which is the southern tip of Italy, all the way up, like past northern Italy. I think that he was in like a camp up in northern Italy. Like I'm assuming that most of the soldiers were up there because most of the battle was happening like you know, the eastern and western fronts of Germany. So she didn't even see her dad until like a few years after the war, when he like eventually, like from hitchhiking and walking and hiking and biking and anything he could do to get back home, like finally made it home. So it's just crazy, like someone like that. I mean, I love my Nonna to death. She's still around today, luckily, and like it's crazy to get those kind of stories like right from her. Yeah. But like, just it's crazy how like if you talk to her today, still has that mentality that like tomorrow could be a war.
Yeah.
And we don't have that.
Tomorrow's war is going to be so much different than her war.
Well, it'll be like that though. It'll be a second. Don't even worry about it. You won't even notice.
Jeez, North Korea's just going to drop more nukes, then Russia's going to drop them, then the U.S. is.
Here's something interesting. Have you ever heard
chain reaction?
Have you ever heard the
chain reaction?
It is not known what weapons the Third World War will be fought with, but the Fourth World War will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah, like, that's encouraging though. Wouldn't it be nice if everything just went
back to like primitive?
It's not going to be. Well, it's not.
It's all going to be toxic.
There's no such thing as There's no such thing as going
radioactive.
Back. That's just the thing. We're going to evolve to like some weird new creepy mutated version of humans.
There's going to be mutated horses making vegetables for us.
Yeah, they work for the horses.
Yeah, we're going to blend with the horses as soon as the missiles hit.
There'll be horses from wherever protesting us working for them, dragging them around.
Yeah, if you guys ever ridden? I've never even ridden a horse.
I've ridden a horse before. Yeah.
Did you abuse it?
No.
That's good.
If anything, it abused me.
Yeah, same.
Horse I
got thrown off.
Yeah.
That was. I don't know. Horses are scare me.
Yeah, I'm scared of horses.
They're too unpredictable.
Yeah, my grandfather was a cattle rancher and like a horse. Like, what do you call it? Like they had horses.
He was a cowboy
back when they were in South America.
A horse boy.
And he got thrown into a barbed wire fence and he was stuck there like upside down because he got booted off on the horses.
Damn.
Yeah, that was Opa Peter.
Shout out to Opa Peter.
Yeah.
Does he have a computer?
No, he doesn't.
But he's got a horse though.
He's got a camera that looks at the lobby, so when anyone enters his retirement home, he will watch them. It's pretty funny.
That's good. No one mess with Opa Peter. He's gonna be seeing you coming.
He'll see you. And Ice Hogs. He watches Ice Hogs.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Today I was driving to work, and the St. Catharines City buses on the top, they have like the little banner that says like whatever stop or whatever bus they are and like where they're heading next, like a typical bus would have on their little TV screen. And then it switches and it says "Go Dogs, go!" exclamation marks. But here's what's funny. Imagine you drove into St. Catharines for your first time and you had no idea there was a team called the Ice Dogs. And this bus is yelling at you, "Go Dogs, go!" Like, you're like, is there like a rabid dog problem around here or something? Like, who are these dogs? Like, imagine if you went to like another town, like let's say Niagara-on-the-Lake had one, and it was like go run Panthers run or something. And you're like, oh, shit. Like,
well, it's funny because we actually do have a panther problem.
Yeah, it's cougar, isn't it?
It is cougar. They're actually very similar.
I've heard we have 3 of them.
Yeah, that's why you don't go to the Old Angel Inn at night.
They've seen a normal mountain lion, like a cougar, like that were normally native here. And they've seen a black panther.
Yeah. There's been one.
I haven't seen that movie yet. Yeah. Is it good?
Yeah.
I actually did watch it.
Was it good?
It was.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was good. It was just I don't really even like
good.
Superhero movies. They're just like the same.
It's like overkill, man.
Yeah.
Too many of them.
I'm sure if Thomas is watching now, he's
agree.
probably got 1,000 comments on that.
Yeah, I don't care. Like it's.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Like if my friend really wants to go see it, I'll go see it. Like I'm not that big with movies. I mean, okay, I guess I am, but not for the whole going to the movie theater. Like it's nice to be able to just pull up your laptop. Maybe we're hermits nowadays. Like it's funny because
Netflix and chill has become such a huge part of our lives.
What's those other ones? YouTube and Spoon, like Crave and Misbehave, and Amazon Prime and
Don.
Slap Your Behind. Oh, there's got to be other ones. We can make some less PG-13 ones after.
Yeah.
What were we talking? Oh yeah, did you guys see Captain Marvel?
No, I don't watch superhero movies at all.
No.
Yeah.
Only Batman, the old one, like Spider-Man,
Dark
like the early 2000s Spider-Man.
Oh, my
There's a new
favorite.
Joker movie coming up, dude.
I don't really watch movies.
Joker and Phoenix.
Yeah. Trailer's
I
pretty
don't-
sick.
Yeah, I know. It's
No,
really after watching like Walk the Line,
Yeah.
and then now he's playing the Joker. It just kind of throws me.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Joaquin
He's playing the
Does he
Joker.
sing like Ring of Fire when he's the Joker? Does he sing at all?
No.
That'd be a good
He
crossover.
played.
No, I know.
Okay.
I walked the line too, man.
I walked the line.
What was really cool with two things that are really cool about Captain Marvel. They're one thing, and like they're not really spoiler alerts because like it has nothing to do with the plot. I don't even remember the plot, but it takes place in the 90s, which is actually a third thing. The second thing is that there's like one scene where she falls into a Blockbuster, and it's just cool to see like, wow, like Blockbuster, remember that? Like, and it's funny because they're sitting there watching a movie, but like the way that you've gone to the movie theater, like movie theaters have been a thing for like almost a century now, if not longer. But it's funny to see like, wow, like a Blockbuster, because I've heard there's only one left in the entire universe that's still open in Oregon. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's almost like a museum now. Like they still, you could still do everything you could before, but like it's probably just
That's so nostalgic.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Like I would go.
Now we have That's Entertainment. That's like the
Yeah, that place is pretty sweet though.
Yeah.
That thing's gonna be government funded because no one wants to close down. Keep That's Entertainment entertaining.
Right, got Cuban cigars in there. You name it, man.
Yeah, every flavor of Arizona.
Oh yeah,
Cubans, they got cigars. Cuban people, whatever they want, they got it. That's entertaining.
And bulletproof glass just in case.
Yeah.
In case it gets hairy.
Right across the street was the Blockbuster. Now it's Sleep Country.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I miss Jumbo Video.
Do you think everyone slept?
Yeah. Remember Virtual Video?
That's something I won't go to.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
Virtual Video. I used to rent video games from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my brother actually, we used to rent video games and then we would play them, and then when we had to return them, we would keep our PlayStation on so you could still play that level, and we would take the disc out and bring it back, but you could still play in that level.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
We got
and now you on Xbox One, you have to download the whole game to your Xbox first.
We got another question from Matt Keller. What are your opinions on regional amalgamation? I want to hear from you because you're the only one that's not employed by the government. So,
So, like, what do you mean for our?
well, because right now Doug Ford has talked about amalgamating.
Yeah.
Well,
What are we talking about now? Like the license plate and stuff like that?
No. That's
No.
Well, we can get to that. But so there actually, just to lay down some facts, he hasn't officially said that there's going to be an amalgamation, meaning like he's not saying that he's going to cut down the borders of any municipalities in Niagara and necessarily turn us into a mega city or a series of like larger towns.
Because like I know what you mean is putting Niagara and St.
40
Catharines,
Falls,
Niagara-on-the-Lake all together.
Yeah, and there's even been like speculation, and this is all speculation. There's no facts, but people have been
remember
thinking that they're going to take all 12 municipalities and make us one big region or one big city of Niagara, or just whatever they want to call us, Southern Toronto, whatever they're going to call us, Eastern Hamilton, West New York.
Exactly.
So, anyways,
I'd say, you know what? I'd say it's slightly threatening because you're putting all these other voices now. You're getting, you might be able to get people from Fort Erie, they have a voice now. And then all these people that aren't from the area, now all of a sudden Niagara-on-the-Lake really is building. All of a sudden, right beside Shoppers Drug Mart, we have a new hotel. Right in the Ramwood Estate, we have a 10-floor hotel.
Well, here's what's interesting. So is your worry that we're not going to get as much representation now compared to
no?
I think
I feel like we'll get more.
More representation.
Way more representation.
And
Still
what do you
look
mean by
at
that?
Niagara-on-the-Lake more towards Welland, Fort Erie, like all those places. They're going to be like, oh, we can do so much with Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Like develop it,
Let's develop more there.
Yeah,
in
and then it'll
comparison.
just become a nightmare.
They're already doing that too.
I think the Greenbelt will be gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're already taking it all up too.
Yeah,
Well,
it's pretty much
in Hamilton.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about like trying to take more of the Greenbelt back, but that's one of the things that they got a lot of backlash on, that they actually paused on. Like there has been a lot of prepositions to change some of the parts of the Planning Act of Ontario. And if they were to amalgamate us, that isn't necessarily going to change anything to do with the Greenbelt. Like that could be completely separate and untouched. Like it's not dependent on the lines of a municipality, the type of property that you have in each area. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that your agricultural land is suddenly going to be an urban boundary if you're part of the city of Niagara. To be called a city compared to being called a township, to being called, a spaghetti land, like whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. It's more about like how the land is specifically designated. The thing that he has said, though, is he has admitted to reporters that we have too many politicians here, which
is fair.
But
Totally fair.
They did the same thing with the GTA, right? And they actually haven't saved that much money.
Well, because what happened is
people are working harder now, like trying to fill the old jobs that they've gotten rid of. You just have politicians working even harder. And like, are you going to pay them? Like, are you going to compensate them for like how much work they're doing?
Don't even think of that. Think about their staff. Each councillor of Toronto gets their own budget, gets their own staff that they can hire on. So if you now are responsible for twice as many constituents, like I mean, that's the one thing we have to keep in mind. If we make it into one big city, one big region, they still have to divide the lines evenly. So that let's say there's 500,000. We'll round up just for simplicity's sake. Let's say there's 500,000 people in Niagara, and they have 50 seats. Then that means that each person would deal with 10,000 people. 50 times 10,000, 500,000. So at least in that case, we would get fair representation. So like, you'll have the geographic boundary be much larger for, let's say, all of Waynfleet is about 7,000 people. So it'll have all of Waynfleet, and then probably a bit of West Lincoln would be like one person. And then you can think of like downtown St. Catharines itself is about 10,000 people. So that small geographic area would still be one person. So, but what'll happen is you'll have like those older identities like St. Catharines banding together saying like, we still see ourselves as like this one
St. Catharines community.
Yeah. And we still see that we want to have something that benefits us all together. We still have like this character, like even if they came and they said, you guys are part of Wonderland now, we're all not old boys when it comes down to it. So we still have like this sense of community. We're still going to want to do what's best for us. But yeah, going back to just like the whole cost thing. I mean, we do have like, I think it's 120 politicians for 500,000 people, compared to Toronto has about 25 for what, 2.5 million. So
that's a lot of people.
That's like, so we have about 4.5 times as many politicians for 1/5 as many people, meaning that we literally have 20 times the representation than Toronto has. So I think, for us to say that, oh, we should be like Toronto, you could easily, with the same logic, say, well, Toronto should be like us. They should have 100 politicians.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's too early in the term to see. If Toronto somehow ends up being like this amazing super haven and everything has worked out so well because this term of council had less councillors, so there was less friction, and they were somehow able to get things passed a lot easier, then so be it. I could see that maybe applying to us. But again, that's a whole nother city. That's a whole nother place. What works in one place won't necessarily work for another. So, you could say anything, you can test anything. You're always going to complain that like, oh, we should have had it this way. We should have had it that way.
I think a big thing, if you're to do something like that, and if you're to put everybody together, is you need to take people from each, still you should consider everybody part of a small region. So you must be a resident of Niagara-on-the-Lake. You must be a resident of St. David's. You must be a resident of Niagara Falls. Like, you need the mixture of people on what would be maybe a new council.
Yeah, like because the way the rules work now is like, let's say you live in St. Catharines and they do have a ward system where you have a councillor for each little area. So you have to either live within the boundary of that ward, you have to own property within that ward, Yeah, it's either own property, be a resident, or have a spouse that lives in that ward.
Okay.
So you do that. Like that's probably the system we would want to see. We wouldn't want to see it at large. Like, can you imagine if
it was all St. Catherine's councillors?
Yeah, and they're going to win
there,
because all of St. Catherine's is going to vote for their people. So that's why we have ward systems.
Yeah.
So we would need to have something like that, and it would have to be like cut fair all across the line. But
and then we're living in a famine over here, and they're making all their own decisions.
Here's the thing. If we do amalgamate and we become one big region, I do hope we keep the title Lord Mayor, because we're the only one in North America that has that. So like if we do get amalgamated, and if you're listening, Doug, keep the title Lord Mayor. If you got to make the chair of the region the Lord Chair, that's fine. I think that's even funner. It's original. I want to get a shirt that says Lord Chair now. If anyone out there is watching and wants to like order me 10, like I'll love you forever. But yeah, Lord Chair.
Well, what is Doug Ford planning on changing? Well, the idea of him changing to the play to.
Oh yeah, so
something to grow.
The whole trillium, the logo or whatever.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
So
I like
there's
the
a lot
logo.
of stuff.
So
he should lay it off. I mean, my mom's a teacher. I'm not really a fan.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna like try to get people on board for $1 beers, at least stock the shelves so they can buy them.
Yeah,
I know. Like, what is it now? Like President's Choice beer.
Yeah, but you can't even get it because it's always gone.
It's because the alcoholics get in there.
Yeah, and there's like
it's not the cheapest buzz or whatever.
Yeah, and those are the people working shitty jobs that are supporting this giant mechanical system of trash.
It was about a month after Buckabeer came out. I went to the Lickbo in St. Catherine's, like by Geneva, like by Fairview there. And I was like so gung ho. I was like, I want to see how horrible this tastes. Like, it's $1. It's got to be dirt. So I went in there and I was like, hey, like to the person working there, like where's the Buckabeer? Like, do you guys have any? And they're like, oh, we're out. And I was like, dang it. So I came back like maybe a week later, like just driving by again. And I was like, hey, do you guys have Buckabeer? And they're like, oh, no, we don't. And then, so I was like, well, like, when do you get it? Like, you obviously don't. And she was like, oh, we get a shipment. Like I forget what it was, but she was like every Thursday, like at 10 a.m. or whatever.
And then they sell it.
Well, I was like, okay. So if I come Thursday afternoon, like you should have some. And she was like, oh no, like you have to be here like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And I was like, why is that? She's like, and then I went and she was trying to give me more of like a softer kind of explanation for it. I was like, so the alcoholics come in and buy it at that time. And she just like, yeah, like the alcoholics, they come in here, right? And it's like, who, I don't discriminate. Like if you have a job where you're available at that time, but like a lot of the times it's those people that are coming in at 10 in the morning.
Yeah,
probably the ones they come right when it opens because they're like, well, I've shaken from the night before. I need it. Like obviously I feel bad for alcoholics, but that's who's buying Buck Beer.
Yeah. And those
are the people who are voting. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the entire conservative demographic.
Yeah. All alcoholics. Here's what's interesting is that the conservatives, obviously people that are extremely wealthy are going to vote conservative. Not everyone, but a lot of them, because the more money that you make, there's a correlation. The harder you work, you tend to make more money. When you make more money, you get taxed at a higher bracket. When you get taxed at a higher bracket, you don't like that. You're going to want to vote for the guy.
They don't care about their social.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So there's those people that vote for the Conservative Party, but then there's also the rest of the Conservative Party that are like not very well educated.
No.
Like, look at the states. Look at so many
like Trump. Look at his base. Like it's a huge difference between like the 1% that vote for him and then all the kind of southern rednecks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Spots with you.
Some shifty things going on here. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, so license plate, they want to change the ones that are like pickup trucks and vans to open for business instead of yours.
Open for business?
Yeah. It
sounds super like
it makes sense on those
like Ontario's
you're gonna buy a van and put free candy on it.
Yeah. Open for business.
Free candy, open for business.
Oh God.
Wait, is that like an option or do you?
No, that's just what it is. Every truck and every van, because right now, if you look, a pickup truck or a van or any kind of like a larger commercial vehicle has black lettering, and the passenger vehicle, so like anything that's like an SUV or smaller, is got like a let's say like a crossover, like a Hyundai Santa Fe, I'm sure probably has passenger, and then a car or anything smaller. So those plates will for now still say yours to discover, but they've already announced that they're for sure going to change the other ones to open for business. Another thing so that I don't know, it doesn't really affect my day to day very much, but it's still annoying because
it's like a stigma, man.
It's like weird.
Yeah,
the party's trying to put their stamp down and saying, Ontario isn't what it has been for the past 30 years, but it is what we're making it now. So you associate
Yeah, why are we going to waste our
Yes.
money on something and changing yours to
Yeah.
Discover to open for
Yours to
business?
Discover sounds a lot more like welcoming. And
Yeah.
It's not going to
Yeah.
cost a lot though. The only thing that they're saying it's going to cost is like basically having to change whatever tool it is that they use to like make that stamp where it says yours to Discover. Now they have to change those over to open for business. So in all honesty, the costs are not going to be anything astronomical at all. Like it'll probably be, I mean, okay, government, they spend a lot in a lot of things. It could be tens of thousands of dollars, but it's not like some people are trying to make it out like, oh, it's going to cost us millions. Like if they put that money into schools, then we wouldn't have to cut teachers. Like, no, that's a whole nother ballpark. But welcome back. The one thing that I am for is that they might get rid of requiring front license plates, like Quebec. How you don't need one on the
Which
front.
is
Cars look way better without a front
Yeah.
license plate. Like,
we need our cars to look way better.
yeah, that's why I voted Doug Ford. I did.
I knew he was going to do that.
I voted green actually.
Yeah.
You are green.
High
Yeah,
five.
me too.
All four of us then.
Well, that's the
Really?
I always
Nice.
vote green.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
yeah, me too.
give it. Wow. All right. So this is the green round table. It's actually square.
I don't believe in
Always got to
democracy.
vote green.
Well, okay. Here's a funny thing. Democracy is two foxes and a hen deciding what to have for dinner. Obviously, the hen's going to get
Yeah.
eaten.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does democracy work in all cases?
Because there's
No.
different types of democracy.
And then there's a
direct
ghost
democracy.
looking
Like
over them.
Switzerland has a lot more direct democracy where you don't vote on your leaders, you vote on the policy. So
And
like
they
if they all
have
vote for free beer, you could vote.
They have a very good policy over in Switzerland. They
Exactly,
do,
yeah.
They're amazing.
They're also much smaller.
Europe is just
countries,
way more
too,
advanced
so it's
than-
easier for them to like.
Our population's probably about the same size as Switzerland.
32, 35.
Yeah, but our economies are so different because of
yeah.
what
Plus
our
the-
resources
yeah.
are. It's very widespread.
They're more like a nation state too. Canada's Canada's all immigrants. So.
Oh, Switzerland, 8.42 million. Well, Switzerland still has a big mix. I mean, they have the
Mhm.
German portion, they have the French portion, they have the English portion, they have Southern
Yeah.
Switzerland is
They're-
all Italian. They have signs that literally have 4 languages on them when you're like, so I was there in the summer and when you're going by on the train, you're looking at the signs, you're like reading like, no, there's English.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was funny. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about today. I mean, we've already flown by a lot. Yeah.
Was it with the legalization?
Well,
We kind of touched on that for like a little bit.
For like
Yeah.
a second.
yeah,
Have you guys been to the
that's
new shop
last
in St.
season.
Catharines?
No, I wanted to go.
No.
You were just telling me about it.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's a real place.
Noel's not going to get anyone.
No,
anytime soon.
Niagara-on-the-Lake Council voted to.
No, they opted out. I went to
Yeah.
that meeting.
Yeah, voted to
I'm just
not
curious.
allow it for now. But okay, so the thing is, once you opt in, you're in forever. There's no backing out.
Yeah.
So to opt out right
Mhm.
away, I mean, I would have wanted to see more public input because I mean the thing is, the council can assume that by them being voted in, they have 100% trust of the people for all decisions. And that's not true. It's for most decisions. I mean, you choose your candidate most of the time based on what their values are and making sure your values line up with them. But you have to buy that basket of goods of things that they believe in. And never has anyone ever actually 100% agreed with everything that a certain politician has had. I mean, they can claim to be so if they have a crush on Trudeau or something like that. But we all know like there's certain things they're going to disagree on. I would have liked to see a little more public input, even if they put out like something. I mean,
Some sort of survey, anything.
yeah,
like-
I haven't seen that with the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake.
No, it'd be nice if they opened up a little bit just to be like, hey guys, what would you think of this? Hey, here's our little survey
Yeah.
in the newspaper
more
or wherever.
I mean, we have had
You
like
know,
committee of the holes where people could have came in and like try to add that in, but yeah, I can't think if there's been any direct discussion on that. I mean, I guess they would want to wait and see if there was enough of an outcry because the thing is, like I said, they can opt out and then they could just as easily opt in.
We can
but
always
it's
just opt in again.
But it's once you're in forever.
Yeah.
Because the
Well,
thing is,
did you hear what's happening with the people who have opted in and haven't started shop?
yeah, they have to put in a $50,000 deposit with the government, and they
It's only
don't get.
70 it's only $75 to buy to apply for the license or prior to them doing this.
Yeah,
And then it was a lottery.
yeah. So, you got
these people
randomly
who
selected
got-
out
yeah.
of the thousands of people.
And the people who didn't get selected, they had to pay penalties.
Hmm.
And these penalties were upwards to $7,500
$7,500 for putting in an application and
for
not doing.
putting in an
If they
application.
chose you and you didn't.
If
do
they
anything?
chose you and
Oh,
you
okay.
didn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I've heard that they had to put a deposit in of something like $50,000 after they were selected and they wanted to proceed.
That would make sense.
And
Okay,
that-
makes sense.
And that for every certain amount of days that they went without opening in the month of April, they lost a certain amount. I think it was like by by the time that the end of the month came, they would have lost the full 50,000, and it's like a linear loss at that point. So like it would be 1/30th of $50,000 every day until the end of the month.
Yeah.
So I know that the one in Niagara Falls has been having issues. I'm not sure what their arrangement is.
I haven't even seen theirs
because I don't even think they've gotten their license yet. So maybe they haven't met
maybe
a
they
certain
haven't
criteria.
I know. Well, this St. Catharines one, that was big news when they opened.
There was that
news.
There was that
crazy lottery too that go through.
And there was a girl that was
at St. Catharines.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's a lottery, but they still look and they still try to like plan it out. They're like, okay, we got 1,000 applications in Niagara region. We'll pick these two or something.
We think they're going to open up a few stores. Think of all the people who are up north.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be up north. It's like, oh, no, they're going to still rely on their black market dealers.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be growing it themselves, which of course you're legally allowed to do now.
So they had to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. Like I've had my prescription for 2 years now. And I'm, you know what? I'm kind of pissed that they legalized it because, you know, number one, we weren't ready. For it.
Well, they had to get it in before the term was over.
Exactly. And, you know, they're going to lose. They probably lost a lot of money.
I heard that with the legalization that black market sales go around like 57% now.
Well, the thing is that you don't have to be as afraid of like the penalties are a lot lower.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So someone's like, I'll just carry.
I'm still trying to get used to it though.
You can carry 30 grams on you and go on a plane in Canada from one place.
It's just weird though. Yeah, it's
like I can't imagine that. Like walking, like
I can bring 150 grams on a plane with me
as long as you stay within Canada.
Because I have a prescription.
Wow.
But think of this: if you are on a flight from here to Vancouver, so you're on that plane from Toronto to Vancouver, and that plane has to make an emergency descent into the United States.
Yeah, then you're screwed.
You can't throw it off the plane because what are you going to do? Open the window?
You can flush it.
Flush it, true. But yeah, if you get that, now you're covered under. It's a federal offense for trafficking. So, and they're not like, oh, that's okay. I know for a fact if I were on a plane and I had an emergency descent somewhere into the States,
you'd be screwed.
I'm staying on the plane.
Yeah.
I'm not getting off the plane, emergency or not. So you guys...
You're not getting off that plane until you've eaten 150 grams of dry bud. Yeah, that would not be fun.
Oh, man.
Well,
jeez. Yeah,
this is a whole hour there, Eric.
It's an hour.
Yeah.
We made it.
And yeah, I mean, we did have some good things to talk about with locals for Carriages.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I know Karen, Jen, the Sentinels, myself, everybody. We all just want to thank everybody too for all the support.
Yeah, honestly,
and everything that they've been doing for us because it's been amazing. It's emotional actually how much of the sport, and I know the family, it's a little emotional for them because it's hard for their business and it's scary for their business to lose something.
Oh yeah, I mean
they've for so long.
Yeah,
and we're not going to allow that to happen.
Hey, I have no problem standing in that corner. Like if those people want to throw their veggie dogs with mustard all over me while I'm standing there, I mean, I don't care. Like if someone was trying to take down my parents' business, I would hope to dear God that people would step in to help out. Like as long as we're not like kicking puppies or anything bad, of course, but. You know, it's just ridiculous to see some people who won't even take the time to understand where these people are coming from. They're like, they won't even take the time to just have a conversation. These are people who just love to hate, who just, I don't know if someone peed in their Cheerios from a young age and they just want to give back as much negativity as they can in the world. But I want to thank them for coming out and for bringing us all together. It's going to be such a fun night. End of April. What day is it happening?
May 11th.
May 11th. Thank you for May 11th. Like, honestly, like, they're probably going to come down. They're probably going to protest outside. But, you know.
But you know what? They can't come out of the property. It's private property.
Well.
So they can't come out of You guys are. Sure. I don't know.
Well, thank you for allowing us to organize this. Well, actually, no. You can take that back because now that's not trespassing if you invited them.
No. Yes, yeah, you're right. I do take that.
He takes that back.
He's right. I take that back. You guys can stand by the road unless you pay to get in. How's that sound?
And we're out.
No, we're actually we're sold out. So people can show up after 9 if they'd like for some live music and a drink.
Yeah, you can watch. You can see the pictures after. There'll be some good news, I'm sure. Coming
out. And then. I don't know if you come join us Saturday. See the mayhem, see the people, say hello.
Yeah, and
come horse around.
Well, I just want to thank the boys for coming in for another lovely conversation. Yeah. We're gonna try to keep these things going. Like I've been saying for a while, I don't know if I'm going to be doing these all the time or not. I've been pumping them out a lot lately. I've just been getting really excited doing this and it's been really fun having you guys come by, and like a lot of people being really interested in this. I mean, Evan is now a regular on here, so thanks for coming back on such short notice too. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I also want to say thanks to Rebecca Battersby for the excellent the background thoughts on Offhand. Thanks to Becca Band for tuning in from overseas. What up, Scotland?
Yep.
And thanks to Matt Keller for sparking that conversation. You could tell that we're running out of things to do, and we appreciate all that. I mean, feel free to comment at any time. Like, I've got my laptop here, so we'll go through all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's it for now. Don't have anyone lined up at the moment. I'll let you all know on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat if someone else pops up in the next while. Till then,
Peace, guys.
Everybody. Peace.